All right, so let's now talk about the excretory system. When we excrete something, that means we're trying to get it out of our body. So when we eliminate waste products from our body, what we're doing is we're excreting it. So that's why anything that does that is part of the excretory system. Now, non-solid wastes, right, like urine, sweat, and things like that, and gases are through the excretory system. Solid wastes that are eliminated through the digestive system that were never ingested to begin with, that's part of the digestive system, like fecal matter. So what we're trying to eliminate in this system is sweat, urine, and through exhalation, we are eliminating toxic gases that can build up like carbon dioxide. So what we're trying to get rid of the body are metabolic waste products like urea, which contain nitrogen, excess salts, excess water, excess minerals, excess vitamins, anything we have too much of that would throw our body off balance. And the organs that do this are the skin through sweat, lungs through breathing, and kidneys through the filtering of our blood. The lungs remove excess carbon dioxide. Now remember, cellular respiration is a very simple equation, right? It's where we burn sugar, this is glucose, right? In the presence of oxygen gas. And what we produce is carbon dioxide gas and water. Well, this in too high levels makes our blood acidic, and we need to get rid of it. So as carbon dioxide builds up in our body, we need to eliminate that, right, through exhalation. But we also eliminate water with every breath, and you can see that if you just hold up a mirror to your breath and breathe, you'll see that condensation. So we need to constantly be drinking water because we're always getting rid of water in the form of vapor with every breath. Skin releases water and salts through our sweat. So in our sweat, we eliminate excess water, excess salts. When salt, which is sodium chloride, goes into water, it breaks up into the ions sodium and chloride. And so those are eliminated along with urea, which is the nitrogen-based metabolic waste product that is found in urine. Kidneys filter the blood. Now, kidneys are going to be the main organ of the excretory system, and they produce urine. Okay, and urine, one of its main waste products that, like we said before, is urea. But it also has other things in there: excess ions, water, minerals, things like that. Hydrogen ions are one of the ions that are removed to make sure that we don't have too much acidity in our blood. So the anatomy is, here's your kidney, right? This is the filter. Think of it like an air filter, but it's a blood filter. Unfiltered blood, right, bad blood, comes in through the renal artery. Okay, and so we filter it, take the bad things out. It's called filtrate, right? And which is ultimately going to be our urine, concentrated metabolic wastes. And it passes through this ureter, this tube that connects the kidney to the bladder. The bladder is like a storage unit, right? And then it expels from out of our body through the urethra. These sound very similar, but they're different in terms of anatomy. Our bladder can hold up a half a liter of urine, but when it goes from small to big, it stretches and sends chemical signals or nervous signals to our brain that tell us it's time to urinate. So we're trying to maintain homeostasis. So the way that we do that is bad blood, unfiltered blood, goes into the kidney, into these things called nephrons. Now, if you zoom in on a nephron, here's this unfiltered blood. This is in this ball of capillaries called the glomerulus. And the glomerulus is, the dead end of these capillaries, and the hydrostatic pressure from the blood pushes a lot of the fluid from the blood into this proximal tubule, and we now call it filtrate, right? Filtrate. Now, the filtrate is just fluid from the blood. It's got good things and bad things. Okay, and as it passes through this proximal tubule and then this distal tubule and then what's called the collecting duct, we want to take the good things back out and put them back into the blood and leave the bad things so that they can get excreted as urine. Okay, and that's how the nephrons work. This helps us maintain electrolyte balance, pH balance, and fluid balances in the body. And there are hormones that are secreted that help regulate this from the pituitary gland and from other parts of the body. Okay, so this helps regulate our blood pressure by making sure that we have the right amount of fluid inside of our blood. So here's some of the things that are coming in and out. So remember, bad blood goes into the glomerulus here, and so everything gets put into it gets pushed through this capsule right here, what's called the Bowman's capsule, right? Bowman's capsule. It's like the dead end where the capillaries transfer all their fluid into the proximal tubules. So it's here, right, where these urea, which is the bad stuff from the body, right? This is what goes into the collecting ducts because we're trying to get it out of the body. But all the good stuff, right? Glucose, some ions, and water, it needs to go back out of this and back into the blood. Okay? As it travels down, it gets saltier and saltier in the kidneys. We're inside of the kidneys, and we remove water. And then as it moves back up, we remove ions like salt, okay, to put it back into the body. And then the filtrates goes all the way out to what's called the collecting duct. And we remove water, calcium, sodium back into the body. And then everything that's left over, right, is going to be passed on into the urine. And that's going to be all the bad stuff. Even though 180 liters every day filter through the kidneys, only about 1% is excreted as urine. If you damage your kidneys, then you can't filter all the metabolic wastes out of your blood. Things like infection, diabetes, AIDS, high blood pressure can damage the kidney and eliminate the body's ability to filter the blood. And so you would either need a kidney transplant, right? You only need one of these guys to survive, or you would need to go through a process called dialysis. Dialysis, you are bypassing the kidneys. You are going to a machine called a hemodialyzer, and you are going to take your blood out, filter it through this, and then put the clean blood back in. And that's called dialysis.